Welcome back to Leonard Brothers Veterinary Centre's Arthritis Talk. We're on to C, and C is for comfort. Now, it's very important with an animal that has got painful joints that we don't make that worse. We're asking these animals to maybe step up their exercise a little bit. We're trying to deal with their pain relief, and the last thing we want to do when we're sort of taking them out for a walk is ask them to jump out of a vehicle and land on those painful joints and maybe bang those bones together. So a ramp is a really useful bit of kit. Make sure it's a good quality one. You can either make it yourself or there are commercial ones available. Likewise for animals getting on and off beds, as you can see here onto the sofa. Cats really like to be up in the air. They like to sort of, it's a feeling of safety to be sort of away from the floor. So it's a good thing if it's not comfortable enough to be able to get onto those sofas, onto the bed, that we give them some help. And it can just be putting different layers there, little steps up, so they don't have to do that leap all in one go. Massage is also a really useful thing to try and increase the animal's comfort, to try and reduce some of the muscular spasm that we get around painful joints, to try and get first thing in the morning to get some blood flowing around those joints. There are courses available that you can do that teach you these techniques nice and safely, but if you want to just try it at home, you can start very, very gently. Generally, your pet will let you know if something's uncomfortable, and if it is, then basically stop. The first thing to do is just gently warm up the muscles and the skin, and by just gentle stroking down the length of the body, follow the limbs from top to bottom, and just rub them gently, and that just gets increased blood flow, also gets your pet used to the fact that you're starting to sort of handle its limbs. Passive movements, moving the limbs round in circular motions, and that basically allows the joint to move without actually having to bear weight. Just gets them freed up, and you'll notice that they loosen up and loosen up. Then you can knead the muscles either side very gently of the bone, and just again increasing the blood flow, trying to break down some of the build-up of lactic acid overnight. And this can make getting up in the morning, the first sort of movements can make them a lot more comfortable. Adding a little bit of heat in is also very useful. Be very careful with hot water bottles. Make sure they're wrapped up in a towel and they're only left on for a couple of minutes each time. Keep moving them around. Put them over the lower back and hips, over the shoulders, wherever the problem might be. I can't think of a better way of starting the morning for myself, so your pets will probably really adore this. If they're typically bad in the morning, this is a great way of getting them up and about. It's also physical comfort overnight that we've got to think about. If you think about some of these arthritic cases are quite large breed dogs, if they're lying on a hard floor or in a hard basket, they're going to be putting weight on those painful knees, hips, elbows. And this is where a good quality mattress can help. Probably about the best are these memory foam mattresses that really conform to the dog's shape and spread the weight very evenly. Make sure you get a thick enough one for your pet. Giant breed dogs about sort of 7 to 8 inches thick, so really quite thick. A medium-sized dog about 5 centimetres, and then your sort of cats and small dogs you can get away with about 2.5 centimetres thick. The great thing about them, not only are they physically very, very comfortable, they also insulate the dog's heat. So those joints are nice and warm and therefore have a good blood supply first thing in the morning, which is when they need to be getting up and about. So it'll make life a lot more comfortable for them. Or you could go the whole hog like Jackie has done and get the entire bed, as you can see here for her 2 dogs at home. Now, if your dog is severely arthritic, I wouldn't advise these sorts of beds because the bed should be as low to the ground as possible so the dog can just simply walk straight onto it and then lie down. But obviously, if you just want to have a nice, comfortable bed like this for your dog that before it develops arthritis, there's no harm in that. And certainly Scooby-Doo seems to be very happy as well. Finally, in the most extreme circumstances, for example, after surgery, as we can see, the dog on the right has got a shaved leg. It's had surgery recently. There are ways and techniques that we can use, specialised techniques, to take the weight off painful limbs, either front or back. We wouldn't expect you to do these at home without careful instruction, but if you are finding that your pet is struggling to get up steps or over difficult ground, just the lighter support, and we're not talking about lifting the pet with this, it's just giving them some extra support and balance while they try and do something that's either difficult or painful. And we will talk you through these techniques before we get you to use them. So if you think that your pet is getting to the point where it needs that extra bit of support when it's out at exercise, then let us know and we can help you with that. So that's C for comfort. Join us on the next for D.